Oh, hello. This is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My friend Judy is a great Italian cook, and she told me a lot about her grandmother. She remembered her grandmother fondly because every summer when she visited her grandmother, she would cook her all the dishes that she loved till today. Maybe this is the reason that we remember our grandmother much better than our grandfather because our grandfather do not make the food that we love. Food forms such an important link between individuals, and it creates memory that lasts for a lifetime. Judy is very much the same way. She really pay attention what people like. Every time she will cook the dish that a person preferred. Her grandkids loves her because every time when her grandkids visit, she will make them their favorite dishes. To me, cooking for my family gives me great pleasure. Each time when I see them enjoy what I cook for them, it makes me feel very happy. Now I know exactly what my wife and my children like. I always cook the food the way they preferred. But each time I try to expand their experience, give them new ideas and new things to try. This dish is a good example that I tailored it specifically for my wife and my son's favorite preference. This is a chicken dish with tomato, zucchini, yellow squash, and green bean. This dish is not based on any recipes, but it is a combination of different templates. Even though I have never cooked this dish before, but I'm very familiar with the templates, so I know it will turn out well. This makes cooking a lot of fun. It gives me the freedom to try different things. At the end, I create this dish so that both my wife and my son will enjoy. To me, efficiency in cooking is very important. Through efficiency, it comes effectiveness because I can then try many different things very quickly. This dish is a relatively complex dish, but it takes only about 12 minutes to cook. The first thing I walk into the kitchen, I thaw out 8 ounces of chicken. While the chicken is thawing, I'm going to get all the other things ready. Again, prepping in advance makes a huge difference because right away I found some jalapeno pepper, which I know my son would enjoy. Next, I found some green bean, which I have prepped earlier. And now green bean is harder to cook. It takes longer. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to microwave it to get the texture that I like. I'm going to microwave it 1 minute at a time, and I'm going to shake it before microwave it again. I did this 3 times, and this will give me the texture that I am looking for. In the refrigerator, I found some yellow squash that are already cut up. And I also find some zucchini that is ready to go. The last ingredients that I need is some tomatoes. I already have some tomato cut up. This is a great time of year for garden vegetables because the jalapeno pepper, the zucchini, yellow squash, and the tomatoes all come from my wife's garden. The next thing I'm going to do is to get the seasoning agents ready. My wife loves black bean, so I'm going to use black bean as one of the seasoning condiments. I'm also going to use some soy sauce, oyster sauce, and Korean barbecue sauce. I discovered that my son really loved to have a gravy to go with the dish because he can mix them with his rice. I use cornstarch to create the gravy. I make a cornstarch water suspension with 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch and 1/4 cup of water. I put them in a jar so I can homogenize them quickly when I'm ready to add them to the wok. Lastly, I have some basic seasoning mix that I put together in advance, and I'm going to use it with the chicken. I'm going to cook this dish using my 13-inch Cook Standard stainless steel wok. I'm going to cook the dish in 2 stages. The first stage, I'm going to cook the chicken, and then I will cook the vegetable next. I add 2 tablespoons of canola oil to the wok, and then I let it to smoke for about 15 seconds to carry out my spot seasoning. If you're not familiar with my spot seasoning method, you can take a look at this video. I'm going to leave the stove setting at high in cooking the chicken. As soon as I'm done with the spot seasoning, I add the jalapeno pepper to the wok. After sauteing it for a few seconds, I add the chicken. It is important to stir the content rapidly because this will accelerate the cooking as well as prevent things from burning. Next, I add my basic seasoning mix. And after stir the content for another 10-15 seconds, the dish is ready. As you can see, the reason I cook the chicken first because I can control the texture of the chicken. If I cook it together with the vegetable, I would take the risk of overcooking them. I then set the chicken aside, and now I'm ready to cook the vegetables. I put the wok back onto the stove and I add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. I'm going to start out by cooking the black bean. I add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of black bean. Next to go in is the green bean. It's already been microwaved to soften the texture, so it will reduce the cook time in the wok. The next ingredients to go in is the yellow squash and zucchini. I add about 1 cup because in this dish, the green bean is the main attraction. I stir fry this content for about 1 minute to make sure everything is properly coated with hot oil. I'm going to add the tomato last because the tomato cooks very rapidly. After stir frying the content for a couple minutes, I did a test to make sure the texture of all the ingredients is what I expected. They seem to be what I would like, so the next step is for me to flavor the dish. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some soy sauce to give some saltiness to the dish. This is followed by addition of some Korean barbecue sauce, which will provide some sweetness to the dish. And the last sauce I'm going to add is the oyster sauce that will make the dish more savory. The amount of these different sauces that I add depends on the dish that I created, as well as depend on who I cook for. My son likes the dish to be more salty, so when I cook for him, I usually add more soy sauce. After doing another quick taste test, I think the flavor is pretty much what I expected. Finally, I'm going to thicken the sauce by adding my cornstarch suspension. When I add the cornstarch, I always try to add a little bit at a time. Because if you add too much, the sauce could become too thick. Besides, you could always add more if it is not thick enough. In this case, after I add the chicken, I decided the sauce is too thick, so I add additional water. I did a final taste test. It tastes great to me. I realized that this is probably the flavor exactly that my son would love. The dish is done. The total cook time is 12 minutes. It took 1 minute 28 seconds to cook the chicken, and it took 8 minutes and 50 seconds to cook the vegetables. The point I want to make in this video is that cooking is a dynamic process. This is the reason that I firmly believe that recipe cooking is not the solution. If you want to cook every day, you must have the flexibility. You must continue to make adjustments depending on what is available to you as well as who you are cooking for. This is the reason that I promote template-based cooking, because it allows you to make changes rapidly. Like my friend Judy, the grandmother who knows exactly what to cook for each of her grandchildren. She might be making the same dish, but she could always make adjustments to adapt to individual preferences. So when you use my fast cooking system with flavor chasing, in combination with advanced prepping and stir frying, as well as template-based cooking, it makes cooking much more easier, more creative, and fun. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like icon below so that it will help me to extend the visibility of my YouTube channel. If you'd like to receive notification of my future video, please subscribe. I'll see you next time.